Por lo tanto, le damos los 15 minutos al doctor Jens Habermann. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And even so, my Spanish is not...
Gracias, Claudia.
Thank you very much for this kind introduction. Let me share my screen, and then I can directly go in. If you can confirm that you can see my screen, perfect. So I'm really honored to be here and to tell you a little bit more about new opportunities with BBMRI-ERIC. Now, what is BBMRI actually standing for? Well, BBMRI-ERIC is a biobanking and biomolecular resources research infrastructure and has been established as a European Research Infrastructure Consortium by the European Commission in 2013. Now, we are comprised of about 16 member states currently and still growing, and 5 observers. And these member states and observers with their national nodes are the backbone of BBMRI-ERIC all over. But we also, of course, if we consider biobanking, biomolecular resources, it's not confined to Europe. It's basically affecting all of us on this beautiful planet Earth. And there are different biobank types, from healthcare integrated biobanking over population-based human biomonitoring up to museum biobanking. And our biobanks in BBMRI-ERIC mainly focus on healthcare integrated population-based and human biomonitoring. And I will give you a few examples what all these biobank types need to address. And I think this is common to all of us across the globe. And I will focus on the healthcare integrated biobanking, as this is basically making up the most of the biobanks in our community. And as an example, locally, how does it look like? Well, for a long time, we had the clinical care on one side, and then on the other side, translational research. And nobody cared about how the samples got across, basically. So we have huge bias due to pre-analytical bias. And this structural gap has been closed by hospital-integrated biobanks, from patient recruitment over sample collection, sample processing, sample storage, up to biomaterial requests. And with a very strong biobank information system, short BIMS, we can not only adhere the sample data, but also clinical data, follow-up data, and research data. And if you make this system accessible, not only for the researchers, but also for the clinicians, then you can create a learning circle between clinical care and research site. So basically that this infrastructure then can support clinical trials, molecular tumor boards, and patient empowerment and citizen engagement. And therefore, biobanks, modern biobanks, really become more and more data integration centers. And if we don't look at the biobank only locally, but across the globe, then exchanging of samples and data makes only sense if this is quality management certified. And that's what we are caring for from the BBMRI-ERIC side on the overall level. And enabling precision medicine at a glance is something that we provide through certain services and research team. We care about patients, scientific societies, and industry. It's in our public affairs pillar and stakeholder engagement. We have a very strong IT services and research team and quality management services and research as well. And I will give you just a few examples for one of these domains. Now, looking at ELSI, we of course involved in research, but overarching, we are caring about quality of life, artificial intelligence, GDPR compliance, so data protection at glance, and incidental findings, how to deal with them. And we do this by basically implementing or basically being part of EU projects. Overall, we publish our results, make it basically accessible to everyone. And we have help desk and an ELSI knowledge space. So if there are any questions related to ELSI, you can either access this open access resource platform or actually address a question or point a question to our ELSI help desk. Furthermore, of course, we give trainings and webinars, which are also online accessible. Now, it's all about advancing and implementing precision medicine. And this is around the entire patient path, from prevention over screening, detection, diagnostics, therapeutics, surveillance, and so on. And we have 3 major focuses on cancer, rare diseases, and COVID, but also the biobanks cover all different disciplines in the medical health field. And it's all about samples and data, facilitating access to samples and data through our biobank network, basically what is important. And I think it's important to realize that in the clinical routine, the sample quality is not as crucial because the biomarkers which are analyzed for routine diagnostic tests, they're quite stable. But if you come to precision medicine, that's at the interface to translational research, and you are looking for using cutting edge technology to basically for downstream analysis. And here for you need very well specifically pre-processed samples of different quality than in the clinical setting itself. And that's where our quality pillars come in handy, where we have a knowledge hub. Of course, we are contributing to international standard developments. We are part of projects and support their services, and we train also the community if there is a need for. We give specific emphasis to pre-analytics training and also the new ISO standard for biobanking. We have helped our biobanks to quality assess themselves, and if they feel ready, we assess them and they might become then or get then a quality mark in our directory. And I'm coming to this directory in a second. We also perform research on quality markers to identify new biomarkers to assess unknown samples so that basically we can have comparable quality of samples to exchange. And taking this further to the directory, this is basically denoting all the biobanks across our network so far, and that's about 680 biobanks right now with more than 2,400 collections and an estimated about 100 million samples and associated data. So it seems to be more or less the largest biobank directory worldwide. And of course, we allow access through this directory, so you can find the biobanks with their collections. And then we allow basically to access the partner biobanks from BBMRI-ERIC, and then hopefully, if everything runs well, we also expect that some results are flying back to us and the biobanks. And in order to allow this entire process, we have different tools, the directory, more on a higher level, basically, scoping for the biobanks. We have the sample locator, which is on a granular level to identify samples and data. We have a negotiator tool to basically facilitate the request from whoever is requesting it, researchers, industry, academia. We have access policies and also provide an ethics check for the projects. Well, very important to know is that all the biobanks from member states of BBMRI-ERIC are in this directory. But if any biobanks worldwide who would like to visualize the availability of any samples and data for COVID or rare disease research and advancements, they are very welcome to also basically become part of our directory. Now, what types of data are available? It's personal and phenotype data, clinical data, any kind of imaging data and omics data, any other possible types of data like surveys or connection to national registries, or even patient-provided data, which through the patient empowerment comes in more and more. This only can be facilitated through many different IT services, and all these basically, not going into detail right now, they are consolidated in BBMRI-ERIC's federated search and analysis platform, which will be built up more and more to have or provide a very intuitive tool for everyone who is interested in searching for samples and data on individual level. Now, looking further, if you're interested, we have also annually a conference together with our partner ESBB, and the next one is in November. It's a virtual congress. So if you would like to learn more about biobanking, please feel free to join. On the European level, of course, we're working not alone. So we have a close partnership with RI-VIS and ECRIN within the Alliance of Medical Research Infrastructures. We are integrated in other European major consortia to drive advancements forward. We are also the continuous secretariat of the ERIC Forum, which basically comprises right now 23 ERICs in Europe. And you can see through the IC2 permit project that we are working well beyond the European borders to foster precision medicine. We are very much engaged with our stakeholders. So we have a pillar on patients in public, on industry, and on scientific societies. And these are the partners which we have full on board and engaged. And these are just few examples of our, at the moment, about 20 EU-funded research projects where we engage together with our partners, collaborators, and we, of course, are open for new partnerships. And this is a team that would welcome you actually for basically joining our activities. And with this one, I'm at the end of my presentation. I thank you very much, but would also like to point out that we have later on today this workshop, which I would like to invite you to as well. Thank you so much, Claudia. I'm at the end of my presentation. If there are any questions or time for that, happy to answer them.